This episode of the Infamous Podcast is brought to you by the Flying Pork Apparel Company.
The Flying Pork Apparel Company is an awfully long name to fit into a 15-second ad. We're most likely going to have to cut it short, but our designer tees and customer services are like way long on quality. Visit flyingporkapparel.com and shirt yourself, folks. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian checking in with a special bonus episode about Wrestlemania 36. And today, I am joined by the best friend of the show.
Aw.
Introduce yourself, sir.
I am Julian Brown from the Everything is Permitted podcast, and thanks for having me back, man.
Dude, always. You're like my best podcast friend now. Like... It's
Besties.
Like, besties. I message you more than my wife.
Oh, wow. That is an honor. I think we need to start coming out to the Iconics entrance music or something like that.
Oh, there we go. Can we yell Iconics like that? I'm not sure my voice can handle that.
3, 2, 1. I got it.
I can't do the Australian accent, mate. So, all right. So, WrestleMania has come and gone. And could you say it really didn't come at all after what they gave us?
I mean, yeah, that wasn't WrestleMania.
Yeah, we had 2 nights of pseudo wrestling. Some of it was good. Most of it wasn't. Did you have just... I want to start on a positive note. Did you have like any like particular, like not a whole match or anything, just like a highlight of like some in-ring action?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we talked about this on chat. I thought the most of both nights, the most energy and the biggest feeling that I got and like the most excitement I got was actually the Raw tag team match. I know that sounds completely bonkers, but the fact that Zelina Vega, did her thing and interfered in the match and, kicks him in the face, and all of a sudden Bianca Belair's music hits. Now, I love Bianca Belair. I love her in NXT.
Same.
I loved what she did. I love what she did in the Royal Rumble. And to hear her come out and then just, beat the crap out of Zelina Vega and just be like, I'm here. These are my boys. Don't mess with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was really cool seeing her, and even with an empty crowd, like she spoke to me.
Yeah.
And that was very rare for these past 2 nights of WrestleMania. And then I just have to say, going into the next night on Raw, it was the same exact thing, right? Yeah. Like just being like, I used to be the EST of NXT. I don't go there anymore. I go here now. And then just like kicking the crap out of Zelina Vega again. Like
when she looked at Zelina Vega and did the clap thing and I go here now, I like popped my tits off.
That clap that she does is just so like, I'm the boss, don't mess with me. Like I love everything about her.
So when she first hit NXT, I hated her. She just like, I didn't feel like she could wrestle. She was sloppy. She couldn't really talk yet. And yeah. And like, in the same message when we were talking about this, like I feel like she followed like that Miz school of like, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to learn how to talk. I'm going to learn how to, really hone this craft. And like within 6 months, she's like one of my top 3 favorite women on NXT.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, it's just you're right though. She did not know how to talk at the beginning, and
it was all about the ponytail, the spinning
Exactly.
ponytail, and that was it. It was like that gimmick was so dumb, and they've turned it into something actually cool.
Yeah, and pairing her with the Street Profits and her husband Montez Ford, like good move. Good move.
Like the Street Profits are great. I love them in NXT. When they got pulled up kind of prematurely to WWE, I was really concerned, and it looks like Paul Heyman is letting them kind of do their thing, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, that was cool. I think of like just kind of a little like snapshot of the 2 nights was during the SmackDown's women title match when it was Sasha and Bayley and Naomi in the ring. This was before they had gotten rid of Tamina and Lacey Evans was knocked out outside the ring. And just the way the three of them went at it, it really shows, like, on that women's roster, as far as, like, work rate wrestling goes, they are the top three.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
And it was just like this fun little, like, I guess 4 minutes maybe, that it was just the three of them in the ring. And then, you know, Tamina came back in and they all kind of went and did kind of the unicorn stampede on her, so to speak, with pseudo finishers and got her out. And, you know, that was like a cool moment in the match that Tamina probably didn't need to be in.
I hate everything about her. Everything.
You know who else I really dislike is Lacey Evans.
Me too. Yeah.
She's another one who just, you know, why Vince brought her up. She's very one note. Like, I love what they've been doing with I always call Bailey Pam now because I learned her real name was Pam.
She is
and like,
Pam, right?
And
like,
it's like,
is she really Bailey anymore?
Right. And it's like I kind of love Pam, like this version of Bailey. And the shit talking and all of that. And Sasha Banks is my favorite female wrestler of all time. So
you and I have like very, like, I don't know, intersecting, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but we have very similar opinions about the women's division, I think, because I love Sasha.
Yeah, I love her. And
my daughter loved Sasha as well.
Well, you had the pictures from Wrestlemania last year, with your daughter meeting Bailey and Sasha when they were the Boston Hug Connection before all that nonsense happened. But all right, so we're gonna run through the show. I think we just start with night one, the pre-show match. We had Cesaro beating Drew Gulak. It was an okay match. I thought it was cool to see Cesaro pull out his old moveset.
Yeah.
But again, there was no crowd to be like, holy crap, Cesaro's doing stuff we haven't seen him do in 5 years, you know?
The thing with Cesaro and Drew Gulak, right, is like Gulak's had those great matches with Daniel Bryan, right? And then if you look like a few months back on Raw and the whole series between Cesaro and Ricochet and how good those three matches were, like, this was going to be a good match no matter what. And the fact that you didn't have a crowd to react to it, like, it just makes it another kind of, I saw this term used the other night, like generic performance center match. And I don't mean performance center in the sense that the pay-per-view is taking place there. It's like, this is a match you would put on to impress your coaches, you know, or at least that's what it looks like without a crowd.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think the thing that you mentioned there is the common denominator is Daniel Bryan. He can wrestle anywhere and make it look good. Crowd, no crowd, in a ring, in a dumpster, you know. I'm hopefully someday we're gonna see him wrestle on a cruise ship at a Jericho Rock and Rager at sea. You know, I mean, that guy just has it, and his particular moveset does not rely on, you know, fan interaction to get things pumped up.
No, that's true. I would agree with that.
So, but yeah, so I don't know. I was bored with it. You know, the show hadn't quite started yet, so I was not even really like super into the idea of like sitting around for what only turned out to be 3.5 hours, of WrestleMania. But you know, I think it's a 2 out of 5 star match.
Yeah, I would give it a 2.5, 3 for sure. You know, I think with a crowd, we may have been saying something entirely different. You just don't.
I think you're right. I think with a crowd, this is a solid like 3-star match with no issues.
Yeah.
So I think we'll call that a 2.5 out of 5 to split the difference between the two of us. All right. So then the show starts, and we get the Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Alexa Bliss being an Ohio girl, so I'm all in on her as well. You gotta
be not right.
You gotta rep the Ohio Mafia. Do you know about the Ohio Mafia?
I do not.
Okay, so like no matter where you work or like what kind of organization you're in, there's somebody from Ohio that works with you.
That's
like,
good to know.
Like we just leave and like, go out. Like I learned I didn't learn about the whole Ohio Mafia thing until I went to work in New York City. And they're like, oh yeah, there's someone from Ohio at every company in New York City, and you guys are like your own little mafia and control everything. It was really funny. But this was a good match because of Asuka and Kairi Sane speaking Japanese,
right?
Shit talking Alexa and Nikki Cross the whole time.
I mean, they also just should not be like allowed to speak English ever again, because the way that they do speak Japanese is just so damn intimidating, and that's what like makes them fun. And and what was funny about that was they were yelling at them in Japanese, and then Alexa Bliss, like when she started kicking the crap out of Asuka, was like talking trash to her in English, and it was like this great back and forth that actually worked and almost took the place of fans, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, I liked the match. I have a huge problem with the finish, especially because it was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk about that now or talk about the match a little bit more, but
no, I think the match went really well. I agree with the finish was not what I wanted to see. One, the outcome, and two, the botch. I don't know. I think with the crowd, this match may have been a little bit sloppier too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So
I don't have a problem with the result. I like having the titles off of Asuka and Kairi just because it really looks like even before, COVID-19 and coronavirus, that they were pushing Asuka for a singles run again and kind of becoming that dominant Asuka that we all want to see.
That we desperately want.
Yes. I'm not disappointed with the result, but man, this was pre-recorded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like redo the Twisted Bliss,
right?
Like just cut and redo it because she straight up landed on her legs,
right? Just flat out.
It was ugly.
She was a Afghan just falling from the sky. I will say Kairi Sane's contract is coming up soon, and it doesn't look like she's going to re-sign, and I can't really blame her. But I would like to see them split the two of them up so we can get our Sky Pirate version of Kairi Sane back.
Yeah.
I think it was a huge miss that they had a pirate-themed WrestleMania and they changed her gimmick right before that.
Do you think, though, had they still had the pay-per-view at Raymond James Stadium, that they would have had them come out of the pirate ship? Because I think they would have.
Well, I think everybody would have come out of the pirate ship, though.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think just the two of them. But yeah, I don't know. I gave this one a 3 out of 5, even with the botched finish, because I thought the infectious, what's the word I'm looking for? Enthusiasm that Nikki Cross brings to everything that she does in a ring, in and around, I think makes up again for like lack of crowd. And then when she talks to the empty arena like there's a crowd there, like I just find that very fun, and like it's well within her character, and it's the character she's had since she was with Sanity. And I got that right, wasn't that with when she was with those dudes who were all Eric Young, and
they had a really
Wolf
stupid Sanity.
Yeah, Sanity, that's what they were called. But yeah, like, it's very much within her character, but now she's like focused that on being Alexa Bliss's best friend.
I don't mind it though. I think that somehow these two work.
They do.
It's strange, but it definitely works. I'm gonna be less nice.
Okay.
I'm gonna judge this match because if it wasn't pre-recorded, fine, I get it. There's gonna be botches, you move on, whatever, right. End of story, done. But if you're pre-recording a show, don't let botches happen. It's that simple. So I got to give it a 2.
Okay. So we'll call this one a 2.5, splitting the difference as well.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, all right. So moving on, we had the match I was least looking forward to of any match probably in the history of WrestleMania. And that includes when Snooki did a tag team match.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, remember?
Why'd you have to bring that up?
Because she did that sick cross body off the second turnbuckle that, like, you didn't see that coming, and like little bowling ball shaped Snooki coming off the rope at you has got to be terrifying. You know, but no. So we had Elias versus Queen Corbin, and I hate what they've done to Baron Corbin. I hated the Constable gimmick. I hate the King gimmick. I liked that lone wolf, like, you know, what he was in NXT as just a stone cold serial killer. And now he's just a clown.
I
in my opinion. It's in my opinion.
Yeah. So. Hey, opinions are good. I think that we've had way too many lone wolves in WWE. So I was happy for them to kind of move away from that. And especially, I think he was still using that kind of gimmick when he won Money in the Bank and then didn't win the championship.
Right.
And I don't think that gimmick would have worked with him as a champion anyway. Like, dude, him as King Corbin, and the Constable thing was kind of a wreck, but King Corbin and this obnoxious asshole that he plays on TV right now is I think one of the best heels in the business right now because of that. Because he's basically, and he said it in interviews, he's basically being, you know, a more douchey version of himself.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I remember him from like college and the NFL, what little time he was there. And yeah, he's a total douche. His teammates always like disliked him. And, you know, I think you can keep that character without, I think the main problem is how much we see of him. They go to him a lot. There's Corbin overload, and maybe that's what it is. And with him, a less is more approach is probably a little better.
You know, I wonder if they didn't use him as much as if people would do what's very popular now and all of a sudden start liking him for whatever reason. And then all of a sudden you're out another great heel because he is a great heel.
He's a great heel. I'm not arguing that. I think we see him too much on television and too much in multiple times throughout a Raw episode. Too many times.
Well, and the Seth Rollins thing went on too long. The Roman Reigns thing was coming very dangerously close to going on too long. I mostly agree with you. I do like the character, I guess is what I'm going to say.
But Elias beat him. So, you know, again, like Elias is one of those, like, I didn't like him as the Drifter Elias, whatever his last name was before they took that away from him.
Samson.
Thank you. On NXT. I like it when he comes out and does the songs and gets interrupted, but then I don't like to watch him wrestle because, again, I don't think he can. I couldn't tell you what his finishing move is.
It's, I think, one of those swinging neck breaker type things, you know.
So, I don't know. It's funny. There's so many moves that you see people do, like the Rick Rude neck breaker. That was his finisher, and it's like, all right, so they did a move. They should not kick out of that. That is a solid finisher. You know, the DDT was the most dangerous move in wrestling for years, and now they just do it. You know, I think the fact that the stunner is so protected is amazing. Even now with KO, and yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, I don't know. I don't like anything about Elias other than like the comedy act of Elias.
I think Elias is completely useless other than getting speared at SummerSlam in 2019 by Edge.
That got us that amazing 24 documentary that it may or may not have been dusty in the house when I was watching that.
There were definitely some onion ninjas around, I'm not gonna
lie. I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5, only because I'm not going to give anything a 0 because these guys all showed up and worked.
Are we not allowed to give things a 0? Is that
I think because of the threat of Corona and COVID-19, no, we're not allowed to give them a 0.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give it a 1.
Okay, 1 out of 5. Cool. We're on the same page. Okay, so the next match, I was shocked this match happened so early in the show. Was Becky Lynch? Becky Lynch. I don't know who Becky Lynch is. Becky Lynch defeating Shayna Baszler in the Raw Women's Championship match. The fact that the WWE writing is so lazy that they had her beat Shayna the way Kairi Sane beat her twice in NXT, and Shayna hasn't learned from that yet, was infuriating.
Oh, so here's the thing, right? You can't have Shayna win at an empty arena, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I think the move was purely done to protect her.
Yeah.
And I agree with it. But yeah, I agree with you. That kind of pin, like, that should not been the finish. Should Shayna have tapped to the disarmor? No. You cannot have Shayna tap.
So
like,
here's the ideal finish, because Becky today, when we're recording this on the 7th, is the 365th day that she's held that title. A DQ in this case, where she is so desperate to keep that belt, one, keeps her, going. She's still the man because she's going to do anything, like that whole Ric Flair. And like, she's got a little Eddie Guerrero in there that lie, cheat, and steal. That I think goes over with the non-crowd show.
Yeah, I think the only way to have that work would be to do a non-crowd show, because my worry with that is all of a sudden you're in this big Raymond James Stadium, and even if they had Becky winning with a full crowd, having her do it via DQ in front of a full crowd all of a sudden creates an issue, because
right, you don't want her to be a heel.
No, and I think people are already kind of like starting to, she's so bad she's good kind of heel, right. Shayna Baszler, and you don't want that story flipping, because Becky still, in my opinion, is the hottest thing, at least in WWE right now.
I just feel like what they did with Shayna at the Elimination Chamber, the way she just kind of tore through the rest of that women's division. Where do you go from here with her? Obviously, she's still in that hunt, but like, Nia Jax came back on Raw. Do you have her and Shayna facing off? Do you have Becky kind of forget about Shayna for a minute and like go deal with the past? I feel like there's a lot of things that happened after that match that makes me really worried for Shayna Baszler.
I hope that this is a one and done, right? Like the sole reason for this is protecting her, making sure she doesn't win in front of an empty crowd, and that the minute that we're allowed to go to arenas again, there's something set up between Becky and Shayna again. Or even, listen, I would love to see Asuka have a run with the title and even let Shayna go through this roster again for a whole entire year, and then have Asuka Baszler at WrestleMania, because how amazing would that match be?
Oh, that would be fantastic, because if you remember when Shayna showed up in NXT, Asuka moved up to WWE and vacated the title. Asuka never lost a match in NXT.
Yep.
Which is really impressive. And, she had a solid run in WWE until she hit the Flair family hype train. But I don't know. I think as far as like the match goes, this was a really well planned out match. I think it showed how savage Shayna is when she's, swinging Becky up against the announcer's table. I think it showed the scrappiness of Becky, the way she was able to come back. I loved when Shayna put Becky in the disarmor. I thought that was a great, they planned this ahead, but like perceived middle finger to Becky, like, oh yeah, look, your move is nothing, I can do it too. But yeah, I don't know. I was just, I hate seeing them build characters up the way they did with Shayna at Elimination Chamber, only to show up at Mania and kind of have a squirrely-ish finish.
Yeah.
Like a squirrely-ish finish that's like a roll-up, essentially, not like a schmoz finish where Becky hit her with a chair, which I think would have been a great thing. Like, Shayna's just beating her, and then she throws her outside the ring, and Becky's like, well, shit, I can't do anything against this one. Bam! Chair shot over the head. Title's still mine. I'm still the man,
Yeah, I would have dug that.
Back down to the bottom of the list for you and come at me again in 6 months when you've, earned your shot.
I was at Mania last year, and I saw the finish between Ronda and Charlotte, and remember, it was very confusing because it was just a roll up, and the whole controversy about Ronda's shoulder not being on the mat.
Oh, it was nowhere near the mat.
And so I'm like, it was still great to see her win, right? Like that was such an awesome WrestleMania moment, and I'm wondering if, for some weird ass reason, if they were trying to replicate that moment and have it be like, look at Becky getting these scrappy ass pins 2 years in a row. at WrestleMania.
I mean, I'll say that the writing staff is not creative enough to really come up with new things. So I could imagine they're like, hey, let's just Control Z, Control V into the rundown. I will say, 3 out of 5 for this match. I think it was fine. It was at a weird spot in the card, so I think that affected it a little bit for me.
I think that this match should have been either a runner up to the main event or maybe third match before the main event. Somewhere a lot higher. Having said that, this match was everything that Charlotte and Rhea Ripley should have been.
Yep.
And I give it a 3.5. I thought this match was fantastic.
All right. You know what? I'm going to go 3.5 with you on that one.
Right.
I will say I think they should have switched the Blue Universal title match for this one with Strowman and Oldberg should have been in this spot. But yeah, so 3.5. All right. Cool. Okay, so 2 of my favorite wrestlers wrestled in this next one. We had Intercontinental Champion Samuel G. Zayn against with Cesaro and Shinsuke out there, which was great to actually see people out there. Defeating Daniel Bryan, who had Drew Gulak out there with him. This was a pretty decent match. You have 2 guys who came up wrestling in rooms with, less people than were in their entourage at ringside, so they know how to put on a show.
Yeah. Sammy being Intercontinental Champion, I don't know how many times it's been said at this point, is way overdue.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Fidel Castro thing he's got going on right now.
I love it so much.
Pure genius.
The great liberator.
The great liberator. Having said that, Jesus Christ, get Shinsuke away from both of them. Give me back my Shinsuke.
You don't like the Artist Collective?
I hate the Artist Collective. I need Shinsuke to win a championship. I need him to come out to the good music. I love both of his songs, but I need Shinsuke to do something before he turns, I don't know, he's like in his 40s at this point, I think. Give me Shinsuke now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The match itself, fantastic.
Yeah.
Having Shinsuke and Cesaro and Gulak in the quote unquote crowd or, at ringside, added that layer it needed. There was some excitement. There were things going on instead of just straight up wrestling. Sammy being the ultimate heel and kept on leaving the ring. God, imagine if there was a crowd, how much booing there would be.
Oh, absolutely. Do you remember? I mean, this was like, Edge 15 years ago when he was first becoming the ultimate opportunist and winning Money in the Bank matches and kind of like eking out championships in the most underhanded way. Like I kind of like get reminiscent of that with the way Sammy is playing things right now. A little bit of that first time with J&J Security with Seth Rollins, but much less like frustrating. Because he will get in there and mix it up.
Yeah, for sure.
So
100%.
I gave this one a 4 out of 5. One, because I really like these. I like everybody around the ring in this particular match, and I thought they did a really good job. And Brian has a path that he's going to take here in kind of like what's most likely winding down his full-time career with WWE, and I'm really interested to see how they grow that and where they go with it and who they're going to add to that particular stable. I will say I don't think WWE, New Day excluded, does trios very well. It's not like our friends. It's not like our friends at AEW who really kind of have grasped the concept of the trio and run with it.
What's that trio right now of Pac and Lucha House, not Lucha House, Jesus, not Lucha House Party, Lucha Bros?
Yeah.
What are they called?
Is it the Lucha Bastards or something?
It's something. Yeah. It's something
so
cool.
It is, but like, you have Jurassic Express, you've got, the whole thing. I think, I think WWE does great with like 4, with a stable where they're not all kind of like Freebird rules. you know, the as much as I hate Seth Rollins, the whole AOP and Buddy Murphy thing kind of works for me.
Yeah, it was better than anything he had done during his face run as Universal Champion.
Yeah, like I didn't even like the Shield. You know, like I looked at the Shield and I only liked Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley. I always thought Rollins was the weak link of that group. I always thought Roman was protected and you know, couldn't really go with the rest of the division at the time. So I don't know.
Let me score this match real quick because there's one more thing I want to.
Oh, sure, my bad. No,
did we
okay. I said 4. Yeah, 4 out of 5.
You did. Yeah. I didn't. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. It was fine. It was fun. Like I said, having them around 3.5.
Okay.
The one other thing I want to say about Seth Rollins is that I think he's gonna end up taking this Triple H route where he ends up being 10 times the heel that he is a babyface.
Yeah.
He is so damn good as a heel.
Okay, so let's save that for a second and talk about the.
Oh, because that match is
we have one more match and then we'll get to that one. So we've got the tag team champion triple threat ladder match, where tag team champions John Morrison defeated Jimmy Uso and Kofi Kingston, in a ladder match for the SmackDown tag team titles. One, you could not have picked 3 crazier individuals to put into a crowd-free ladder match. Like I think in history, like I think, you know, you go back.
Maybe Jeff Hardy.
Sorry?
Maybe Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, you know, though, I think Hardy needs a crowd. I don't think Hardy works without a crowd. His antics are, you know, he does a lot of that posturing and the hopping up on the second turnbuckle and doing the little bow like I'm king of the world on the edge of the Titanic thing constantly, to play to the crowd. I think these 3 again are all pretty seasoned guys from not just, I mean, I know they've all been in WWE for a long time, but I mean Morrison was wrestling like in Lucha Underground and Impact to, you know, 500 to 1,500 people. So you know, like he gets it. The Usos, they kind of get it. I think
I don't like the Usos.
Sorry?
At all. I don't like the Usos.
I don't like the Usos either. I'm not a fan of this rock tree of talent that they have with them and Nia, and heaven knows what they're going to do with his daughter. But I love Kofi. I've always loved Kofi.
Oh, yeah.
I miss Air Boom all the time with him and Evan Bourne.
That tag team, oh man.
So if Evan Bourne just could have stayed away from the hippie lettuce, like, you know, they were going to go places.
Too much of the hippie lettuce. I think he was into some harder shit too.
I don't know, but this was a fun match. It was a short match for a triple threat, and then the way it ended was like just kind of fun and confusing, and like it didn't end like a normal ladder match where like the person gets punched off the ladder and someone takes the belt. The guy who got punched off the ladder took the belts with him, and the only reason this works is because of those belts are Velcro now. They're not snapped. Like, you know, there's no way you could have unsnapped like all 8 of those buttons to do what he did, but you can definitely pull that Velcro right off.
Yeah.
So
I could not get over when he falls onto that ladder with the belts, right? And Kofi and whichever Uso, is it Jay or Jimmy? Jimmy Uso. Jimmy and Kofi are looking at each other and they're just like, come on. And I think Kofi literally just looks at him and not like, I'm going to punch you in the face, but just like, come on, man. Like, really? You just let that happen?
What did we just let happen? He looked at me. He's like, Biggie wouldn't have let that happen.
And then he did the even better move and looked down at the ring that was holding the belts like, what?
I don't know. I mean, it was fun. Like it was a fun little match. I don't know. What do you rate this one?
I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give this match a 4 simply because of John Morrison's bump that he took. From the not the top rope, but right above the top rope onto Jimmy Uso, his corkscrew, with not that much room to land it, and he hit all of it.
Yeah,
and it looked good.
He didn't need a second take, Alexa Bliss.
Damn right.
All right. Yeah, no, I agree with you. 4 out of 5 for sure. So all right. So let's get back to Seth Rollins here.
Mr. Monday Night Messiah.
So I really like his look right now with the Bane, the all black Bane leather jacket that they tried to put on Jon Moxley, or put on Dean Ambrose. I like the man bun and his super dark beard and hair right now. He's done the heel thing where he's let his chest hair grow out a little bit. So he's a little less defined in like the ab region and everything. So I dig this character as much as I don't care for Seth as a wrestler, a person on Twitter. I'm digging what they're doing with him right now. That being said, Kevin Owens is a goddamn madman. He is a mix of like Mick Foley, Bret Hart, I don't know, like 4 other, like Edge, like
Stone
all.
Cold. He's got Stone Cold.
Yeah, Stone Cold for sure. Yeah, like he's like those 4 guys in what's his name? Big Country Roy, the UFC guy, Roy Nelson.
Okay.
Like in Roy Nelson's body. So yeah, I don't know. I thought this was a really good match. I liked how Seth did the thing to just get disqualified because he's like, I've had enough. And then KO's like, yeah, no, we're not done. This is a no DQ match now. Get your ass back down here. And then he made that sick bump off the WrestleMania sign.
Yep.
So I don't know if you heard, he wanted to take a bump off the pirate ship in Raymond James Stadium.
I did not hear.
So his whole thing with Seth was like, I'm going to elbow you off at the pirate ship.
I would have loved to see that, like 100%.
I mean, when I don't remember at what point I messaged you when I was like, oh my God, King, he's dead. Like that would have been everybody's response to that, except for not he's dead. It's like, oh my God, they're dead. They're both dead. Like that's like a 40-foot drop.
It was a great bump. I thought that's how the match was going to end. It wasn't. It didn't.
That's why it was great too.
Yeah. It was, dude, you hit it so right on the head when you pick these wrestlers that Kevin Owens is like. Kevin Owens is like the fat dad that just wants to scrap with everybody, right? Like, I love the shit out of this guy. He
like he's at his kid's soccer game and he's like punching. Exactly. He's punching an other team's dad in the mouth for
yelling at the ref.
Yelling at the
ref.
Yeah.
Goal, ref. That's who Kevin Owens is, and he's got the blessing to use the stunner,
which is huge.
And is there not a perfect wrestler to use it other than Kevin Owens? Because I don't think anybody else.
And I will say, I think Kevin executes it better than Stone Cold ever did.
I'm not gonna say it yet.
I'm saying the way he executes the actual move. I think Stone Cold pulled it out like at the right time better than Owens does, but the the kick and the drop and everything, I don't think anybody does it better.
Well, and we got to talk about the stunner in this match, right? Because Seth Rollins did such a heel move here and did not sell for Owens, which made it even better.
Right.
He hit that stunner and all Rollins did was drop to the ground.
Right.
No sell, no the Rock double flip over the back.
Right.
Like just literally stunner, ground, pin, 1, 2, 3. Did not sell, didn't need to sell.
No.
Like that's a good heel.
I think that's a good sell doing it that way though. Like
well, yeah,
I think the clown antics that the Rock would pull with the stunners was ridiculous.
But at the time it worked, right? Like it was a different time.
But again, like you look back to Bret, like that's the way Bret sold the stunner.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I felt like I just felt like watching these two. It was like a throwback to like days of yore in wrestling, where like you just had two solid workers in there who were going out to steal the show. And I feel like to me this was the match of the night.
Yeah. As far as actual matches go, yeah, I would say that this is the match of the night as well. Again, I'll say it. Seth Rollins is such a good heel. I think he should work most of his career as a heel.
Oh, he should never, ever be a face again. It's like he should be the anti-Cena. Like, no face turn for him. Just heel.
Yep.
You'll sell more merch.
He will. Dude, this Monday Night Messiah thing that he's got going on is, like, listen, I don't like a lot about what's going on in WWE right now, but they got something special with that and Buddy Murphy. And it sucks so hard that one of the guys in AOP got injured because I don't think they're going to use them in the stable anymore.
Yeah, so they need to replace them, obviously. But or like, have, I think Razor is the one who got hurt. Have the other one come out, and there's a big dude in the back that they can use, I'm sure. Heck, Apollo Crews just got moved over to Raw. He had a great match with Aleister Black on Raw. A great match. You texted me like, "Oh my God, they're gonna bury him," and I was way far ahead of you, and I was like, "Sucker." But no, throw Apollo Crews in there. Like I said to you, I think he came up to the main roster about 2 years too early. He did not smile and do that whole like, "Hey, oh shucks, guys." He didn't gimmick last night. He's got the beard. He's got that heel look going on. Throw him in with the Messiahs, and like the Church of Seth, and see where that goes. I think again, like you said, this is a good gimmick for him. I just wish he was a little better talker.
I think he's a good talker when he's a heel.
Yeah.
Like when he has to pander to the crowd, it's cringeworthy.
And I think sometimes he just stumbles a lot with what he says. Like what he says is good. It's how he says it that I have issues with from time to time, because he has a little bit of a lisp. And it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Did you stutter as a kid, Seth? Like, I feel it. I stuttered too. So, but no, I'm giving this one a 4.5 out of 5.
I'm going to join you right there with that 4.5 out of 5. This was a great match for sure.
All right. So now we have the, do you watch, Wrestle Talk on YouTube or anything? The two British guys?
I don't
British guys now.
Listen or watch anything wrestling related, except for wrestling, because I just can't do it.
Sure. So those guys, they call the SmackDown title the Blue Universal title because it's blue. So I've adopted that. This is a 1 out of 5. The only reason I don't give it a 0 again is because these guys showed up during coronavirus to wrestle. There were 4 moves. I hate Goldberg, and I think Braun Strowman is a transitional champion at best. And as soon as they start having crowd shows again, and Roman feels it's safe to, be out in public, they're taking that title off him immediately.
Thank God.
That's my opinion. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but
I think Roman finally has the crowd, and I've never been one of these people that hates Roman Reigns. Do I think he's the most talented guy in the world? No, but the guy is good on a microphone and would be a great heel, but he seems to have the crowd now. Give him the belt while people want to cheer him.
Yeah.
Having said that, this is hard because I don't hate Goldberg, but I have a lot of hard times respecting Goldberg because of all the stories about him hurting people. And Bret Hart recently going on Stone Cold's show and talking about how he's the worst worker he ever worked with.
He's dangerous. He's really dangerous.
He's dangerous. Like,
he makes Ryback look safe.
Yeah, he could have killed Taker. Like, he legitimately could have killed Taker at whatever they call the stupid Saudi shows.
He could have killed Bret Hart.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and I'll never forgive him for that kick to Bret Hart's head. I'm a Jericho guy. I hated the way he treated Jericho in WCW. I'm a Matt Riddle guy through and through. I hate the fact that he has zero sense of humor about Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, get over your fucking self and, like, have fun with the fact that you get paid to put on shorts, tiny little shorts, and black pads and be a knockoff Stone Cold and go out and get paid millions of dollars to work for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
and
get over yourself.
It's hard because my other issue is I can't stand Braun Strowman either. I've never liked Braun Strowman. I think he is the most generic of generic big guys. He can't work on the mic. I hate that stupid thing he does when he runs around the goddamn ring and shoulder charges people. Like, get over yourself, dude. You said I can't give a 0, but I'm not even going to give this a star. I'm giving it half a star.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call this a 1 out of 5 for both of us, just because, like, they did actually show up. This is their participation award.
Could they have not done some other big guy moves though? Could they not left the ring and like gone up the ramp and done some shit? Like, I know Goldberg can't work that well. So, I know Braun's got like 5 moves in his arsenal, but like
Goldberg did 3 spears. Braun did 4 running power slams. That was it. There were no other moves in the match.
Yep.
Like, there wasn't even a tie-up. It was just Goldberg came out and speared him, and like he did that, and I was like, oh my god, they just buried Braun Strowman. But the
I
reason
would have preferred Goldberg keeping the belt, if we're being completely honest.
So this was Goldberg's last date in the contract that he had signed, which is why they gave the belt to Braun.
Gave the Brock to Braun.
They gave the Brock to Braun. But this is why they put the belt on him. And, I mean, you can't get mad at Roman Reigns for pulling out. You can't,
Oh, not dude. Screw anybody who is talking shit on Roman Reigns for pulling out of this. So I'm a cancer survivor. I get it.
Oh, cool.
And sorry, rant over. Yeah. Like, you don't know people's shit.
So, so Roman's brother Matt, Rosie, was married and had kids with a girl I went to high school with. So Matt lived in Cincinnati for a while, Matt Hanoi. He had this amazing Caribbean restaurant, Caribbean restaurant here in town before he died. And so, I have a soft spot for Roman. I don't necessarily I think Roman's come a long way in the last 2 years. But I don't think I'm ready for an extended Roman Reigns championship run.
Yeah, I almost just with everything that he's been through, I almost feel like he deserves it.
He absolutely does deserve it, but
I
don't want to see him hold the belt for like a year. I
agree with that.
I would like to see him come back, take the belt off of Braun, and then have him and Daniel work a program and bring back the Eco Warrior Daniel Bryan, so we can get that wooden belt back again.
I love that thing,
dude. It was like for sale. I don't know if it's still for sale on the site, but I keep wanting to go buy. I've never wanted to buy a title more than I want to buy that one.
Yeah,
but then I look at it and I'm like, I think I could make that.
You probably could.
So I just need to get a Dremel. And
you gotta get a Dremel. You gotta go to a hippie store and buy some blue and turquoise gems.
Just get some hemp and good to go. All right. So the main event of the evening was the Boneyard match, which I'm 100% convinced that AJ forgot what a graveyard was, or because he's from the South and they call graveyards boneyards. He said boneyard, so they just decided to run with it. I hated this.
And I absolutely loved it.
And I understand why you loved it. I think cinematically it was really cool. I hated it for a couple reasons. One, this was the ultimate deletion match without the lake. And without Vanguard 1, and Vince did not understand that when they did the ultimate deletion match. Michael Cole came out and said, "This is really weird. I'm not sure you're going to like it," before they aired it. And then all of a sudden now they're doing, compound matches that are filmed and whatnot. And while nobody does production better than the WWE crew, when they have time to put something together, nobody does a better job than they do. And so I give kudos to the production and editing and crew for putting together something that looked beautiful.
Yeah.
But burying AJ Styles the way they did, and not literally, I know they literally buried him, but dude, Undertaker needs to be passing the torch at some point, because he needs to go the fuck away. Because, much like Goldberg is going to hurt somebody, Undertaker is going to hurt somebody. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about how, this gives Undertaker 5 or 10 more years if he can do matches like that. No, this is a one-time thing, because they do it again and it will not work.
See, I'm gonna disagree with you there, because I'm not saying it's gonna give him. I'm not gonna say it's gonna give him 5 or 10 more years. Not at all. But there is still a potential for a Sting Undertaker match, and this is the only way to do it, right? Like, this is the only possible way to make that happen.
But can Sting go? Can Sting actually go?
They don't need to go. This is purely filming a movie. They don't need
I get
to
it,
go.
but his neck is jacked up. Can he actually like take any kind of a bump, regardless if it's a cinematic bump or not?
Get a stunt double.
You gotta think. You gotta think the way Seth hurt him. He hurt him bad, and that's why he can't wrestle. And the last thing I want to see is Undertaker kill Sting.
No, you have a good point.
Because
I just go ahead.
I was just gonna say because Mark is
it
not,
was Mark Calloway, right?
He is not as strong as he used to be. I mean, he was a freak of nature back in the day. I mean, he was the Phenom. I've never been a fan, but he was definitely the Phenom. But yeah, he does not have the strength to do some of that stuff, and he was lucky to get paired with AJ Styles, who will go down as one of the top 10 wrestlers of all time in history.
So the only reason I ever watched TNA was because of AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. Mm-hmm. So I'm right on board with you there.
If you don't be honest, you watched because of Velvet Sky and the other one.
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know any of the women. No, like I don't know any of the women's division in TNA. Like I hated TNA. I literally I would. If I wanted that crap, I'd watch WWE. Like I don't even know who Velvet Sky is.
So their women's division was actually like solid. It's kind of like what the women's division is now. Like they actually wrestled and shit. Like, right. But no, I'm kidding. No, AJ, the whole X Division thing there. Samoa Joe, the X Division. I liked what's his name? The Blueprint Matt. It wasn't Matt Murdock.
No, I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah. The big dude. I liked him. I liked him when he was in WWE and whatever his name was in WWE before he went to TNA. But yeah, so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. If you don't mind, I'm going to talk about this match for a minute because when I think it was either WWE 2K18 or 2K19 came out, I was doing the Your Universe mode and I was getting to WrestleMania season and I needed Undertaker in a match and AJ Styles didn't have a match yet, and I'd been building him in another story, and I always loved this idea of the Phenom versus the Phenomenal one, like Phenomenal versus Phenom. Like it just worked, right? Mm-hmm. Ended up in a video game having a 5-star match. AJ Styles beats Undertaker in like the most crazy of crazy matches. Both end up getting busted open. I'm like, God damn, do I want to see this match in real life? Now, obviously, we didn't get a wrestling match, right?
Right.
We got a movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad we did because otherwise, I think they could have probably made it work. AJ's a veteran, Taker's a veteran. AJ's small, so Taker probably would have been able to, do some more Taker-like stuff. But having them do it in this format worked so well because, again, this wasn't Dead Man Undertaker. This was American Badass Undertaker. This was almost not even the Undertaker, like you keep calling him. This was almost Mark.
This was
Calloway.
Mark. This was Mark Calloway. Yeah. This wasn't the Undertaker. It was Mark. Yeah. Like when they did the laser lights of his like symbol there, they should have just done MC on there. Right. So it's like, yeah. I mean, he was like other than when AJ put him in the grave. And then he popped up behind him. That was really the only Undertaker-y thing that he did.
But what I really liked about it was that it worked because for lack of a better term, and I'm sorry if it's insulting, I don't think it is. I think they would almost agree with it. Like these two guys are rednecks. Like, right?
Yeah, they're hillbillies.
Like, yeah, I think they would both like gladly admit that they're rednecks. So having them do this fight, like it's not a wrestling match, having them do this fight in a graveyard and, having the OC there, like, I don't know, man. I loved everything about this. And having the Druids come out, and I think someone on a group I'm in compared it to like Taker taking him out like a kung fu movie, and I was like, yeah, it was awesome. Like I loved that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just like I said, it's just the Undertaker doesn't do anything for me, and AJ is, again, I think one of the top 10 all time, like across any brand, not just WWE. We're talking like New Japan. We're talking WCW. We're talking NWA. We're talking like old school WWF. We're talking, just anyone who's ever like laced up a pair of boots and thrown on tights. AJ is, let's be honest, he's probably top 5.
100% agree with you.
And I hated them. I hate the Undertaker refusing to pass the torch to anybody.
But he did.
To who?
He passed it to Roman. He passed it to Brock.
He did not pass it to Brock. You cannot convince me that Brock did not go into business for himself there and just like, you know what, fuck you, and because they had like that time when Undertaker like got in his face after the one UFC match. Those guys didn't like each other. Like I will to this day like defend the conspiracy theory that Brock went into business for himself. And at that point, like he had the loss. Kind of losing to Roman was not passing the torch.
Having said that, I don't think that AJ needed to have the torch passed to him. I think in a way this is passing the torch to him. This doesn't do anything for Undertaker. This gives AJ time to take some time off because he's had some nagging injuries, and then come back probably on I'm going to say non-OC. Like come back as a face again and listen, you got to remember AJ's not young anymore either. No. He's probably got a couple more years left.
He's my age.
And like do something really amazing. I think this match does everything for AJ.
Okay. I see. I can get your point. I don't know. I always like when AJ wins. So
I don't disagree with you there. I love AJ winning, except when Shinsuke lost to him.
Yeah. And that was too much because they just kept punching each other in the dick. So
how many low blows in a storyline?
It was like Stephen A. Smith practicing boxing. If you guys don't get that, Google Stephen A. Smith boxing. What kind of trainer teaches a dick punch? Anyway, all right. So I'm assuming you're giving this a 5 out of 5.
I am going so here's the thing. I don't think that you can give this a rating. Like, and I don't mean like these guys didn't come to work. This wasn't a match. You can't rate it in that typical like 5-star match rating system.
So okay. How many stars out of 4 as a cinematic experience do you give this?
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I give it 3. So
okay.
Because like I said, the production crew does an amazing job. So
I was actually shocked at how good it looked.
Yeah. I think you give a WWE production crew a week and they can do anything that they want and make it look beautiful.
Yep.
All right. Night 2. Ding ding ding. It starts off on a really low note.
To say the least.
The pre-show match with Liv Morgan and Natalya. Liv defeats Natalya, which I was really shocked that Natty gets no love. I think Natty's
they gave Liv the win.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Her up.
I think Natty's best days are behind her, and I'm waiting for her to transition into like a backstage producer coach role at some point soon. She's never getting a run with the title. She's not. She's not going to get either of the titles. She's not, Beth Phoenix is not a full-time wrestler. They're not going to, throw the tag team belts on the two of them.
If she was going to have a title again, like that would have been it. Right?
Yeah. And they had that opportunity and they didn't pull that trigger. So, as much as I love Natty, I think it's kind of time for her to wind down.
Yeah.
I don't think Liv Morgan's a very good wrestler.
Well, she's not a good wrestler, right? Like she's good at making some great facial expressions. She can work a crowd. I think she's young, and I think that she has an absolute great chance to build upon that and become a good wrestler. And I think they are trying to turn her into a star. Whether it ends up working or not, I guess we'll see.
So
she just lost to Asuka. So
yeah, I think if you look at, but she gave Asuka a match.
She did give Asuka a match. That's true.
I think if you look at like Carmella and the way they handled Carmella, because Carmella was not a wrestler. She was like on the what was it? Eve Marie. What was the lady with the red hair? Eve.
Oh, Eva. It was just Eve, right?
Yeah, whatever. No, yeah. Eve was like this super sexy like Latina girl with the
yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
No, it was like I think it was like Eva Marie or whatever. But like everybody hated her. They hated her in NXT, so they bumped her up to WWE, and they hated her even more. But like Carmella kind of started out that way, where like she was not a good worker, and like she's actually turned into like a pretty competent upper mid card female wrestler.
Carmella,
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, I mean, she's had the belt. Like, I don't think she'll ever get the belt again. But I think if Liv, they take that approach with Liv and take their time with her like they did with Carmella, there's something. But Carmella had the luck, I think, in quotes, of working with Enzo and Cass as like the third wheel of that shit show. Where she was able to be down at the PC and like hone her craft and everything. And I think Liv being out on the road, working night in, night out is not going to help her get to where she needs to be. I also think like they repackaged her really weirdly.
It is a weird repackage, right? Like I think it almost works. I think they need to do something else with it. And I will say this. Out of the 3 wrestlers who were in the Riot Squad, and man, was that an epic failure. That could have been such a good group, and they did nothing with it. She has the most potential, even I think out of Ruby Riot. Sarah Logan's going to end up being a Saturday night main event, stalwart for the rest of her career, unfortunately.
And she can go. That's the sad thing. She can actually go.
If they were smart, they would pair her with her husband and pair her with Viking Raiders and do something like that and have them feud with like Bianca and
the Street Profits. That'd be great. I mean, Kashiri wears like the squirrel pelts and everything, and
exactly.
You know,
it's like we should be writing the shows or something.
Maybe, I don't know. So I don't. I've only been watching and going to wrestling for like 35 years.
Yeah, right.
So I think I told you. I don't know if I ever told you. Like, I got to watch Andre the Giant wrestle Hillbilly Jim.
You did. That's so awesome.
The greatest match. Like, it wasn't even a good match, but it was still the greatest match I ever saw because it was Andre in person.
And that's and I got to tell you, that's the reason I love Undertaker. It's because like I was going to house shows, at Madison Square Garden when I was a kid because I grew up in New York. So like that's just like these are the people that I grew up.
Sure, with. I get it. No, I get it. So 1 out of 5.
And especially being a pre-show match, 1 out of 5.
Cool. All right, so then we get into the main card, and it opens up with champion Rhea Ripley losing by submission of all things to Charlotte Flair. Now, you sent me the article about her and her visa situation.
I still have so many things to say about
I don't. But one, I don't buy that. 2, Charlotte Flair is the new John Cena. I really liked her in NXT, and I really liked her when she first came up. There is no reason this is her 11th or 12th title reign that she's had in the company. And I know they're trying to get her to that like 17 and pass it up to 18 to beat her dad. But Ric Flair's 17 titles came over the span of like 30 years, and there were multiple times where he held that belt for multiple years, not just 3 months and drop it, 2 weeks and drop it, 3 months and drop it. I do not understand their fascination with Charlotte Flair. She's not a draw. She does.
It's because her last name's Flair.
Well, I get that. Like I understand that, but like she's not a draw. People tune out when she's on. She's not going to do anything for NXT against AEW.
The fact that Vince McMahon thought that taking the NXT title off of who is quite possibly the hottest thing going for NXT right now in Rhea Ripley,
who's 22 years old, mind
exactly, and gets like almost as big as a pop as Becky's getting right now, right?
Yeah.
And thinking that Charlotte Flair is going to be the one that wins the Wednesday Night War against AEW because she's the NXT champion. I'm not going to watch NXT. I'm not saying I'm not going to watch NXT, but I'm not going to watch segments that she's on. She brings nothing to the show.
Mm-mm. No.
She's already been there.
Same thing with her over and over and
like
over.
Finn Balor going down there makes sense, right? Like Finn Balor didn't do anything on the main roster.
He wasn't allowed to do anything on the main roster.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But like, okay, so if they want to win this Wednesday Night War, you know what they have to do is they need to take a page out of AEW's books and put on kick-ass matches and not talk so much. There's just, I mean, if you remember when NXT was just an hour long and it was pre-taped, and that was the best wrestling in the world happening at that time.
In the world.
Or let me So that was the EST of wrestling, right? It was
right.
the greatest, the fastest, the brutalist. I don't think brutalist is a word.
I like it though.
But
I dig it.
that would be a good tag team name, the Brutalists.
The Brutalizer, maybe the Brutalizers.
No, you got to do the Brutalists.
The Brutalists.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
NXT
going to 2 hours was the worst thing that ever happened to the show.
And going live is the worst thing that happened because they watered it down. No more were they allowed to like slide through the corner under the bottom rope in between the ring and the ring post, which you had guys who used that to just amazing moves. No more are they working the apron of the ring. No more are they, just doing that kind of New Japan, like quick pin, like near fall. I don't know. Like my greatest fear is Johnny Gargano goes up to the main roster and
he never should go up to the main roster.
My second greatest fear is Tommaso Ciampa goes up to the main roster. Because they're both small. Vince hates small guys. But with this match, Rhea Ripley came out dressed like a Power Ranger. I told you
everything totally against her character.
Yeah, like there were no chains. She wasn't wearing the black. She didn't have the leather jacket on. She was overly sexualized with like they kind of like Miracle Broad. Her top
was
top.
Yeah, it was horrible. It's like, what are you doing? That's like not Rhea Ripley. Like, yeah, she was totally over sexualized. It didn't,
like when they did that, I knew they were
going
to lose. I knew they were going to give the belt to Becky or to Charlotte when I saw her. Because Charlotte has had so much work done, she doesn't even look like the same person who started with the company. She doesn't even look like the same person from a year ago. Yeah. Like I get getting the mole taken off her face, right? But like she did not need a facelift. She did not need to get like bigger boobs than what she already had. Like, and it's not to say that she's not like beautiful and sexy. Let's not like argue that with that. But it's just too much. But like. I mean, I think Rhea's great. Like, her programs with Toni Storm over in NXT UK were the only reason I watched NXT UK.
The same thing. The only reason I watched NXT UK, their matches were fantastic. And this match wasn't good. I see so many people saying that, like, oh, this was a 4-star match.
No,
and
this was a 2-star match.
Crap out of each other. Like, this match could have happened on an episode of NXT. Like, if you're going to put Charlotte on a bar and you're going to have her win a championship, then you have to put her on that bar.
Yeah.
This was in no shape or form, whatever. Sorry, I screwed up, how you say that. But this was in no way the match she had with Asuka at WrestleMania or even the matches she had with Asuka on SmackDown. Like, this was just a match.
Yeah, this wasn't the stuff that she had with Becky leading up to last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, this is just like, her winning the Royal Rumble was a travesty. Her getting this, like, they just want to put every accolade on her as quickly as they can. Nothing she does is earned at this point.
And then she's going to feed into yeah.
So, when she goes away, like, she was gone for like 3 months. I didn't miss her. I was never sitting around like, hey, where's Charlotte?
Nope.
Not once did I think that. And
then Corey Graves had to say on his podcast that he didn't like what they were doing with her, and then she started getting pushed again.
I will say this, with all of this like pre-taped shows and stuff like that, I don't miss Corey Graves. Like, it wasn't until he kind of showed up on the balcony during like pre-show stuff or like in between stuff. It's like, oh, you're still with the company?
Tom Phillips is one of the most underrated announcers in the entire business.
Corey Graves can go fuck off to like backstage or something, or just keep doing your podcast. His podcast is great. I hate him as an announcer. Yeah. He's like all the bad things that Jerry Lawler does without the sexual harassment.
Annoying voice.
Well, yeah, that too.
But yeah, without the sexual harassment. So, exactly.
I'm thinking this is like a 1 or a 2 out of 5.
It's a 2.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a 2. Just because there were some moments, like moments.
So this started the night off and I was like, oh, really? Like, this is how you're starting the second night of WrestleMania? For me, what was like 2 down matches coming out of the first night. And then they follow it up with Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley with Lana, which made 0 sense for them.
And all of a sudden, Bobby Lashley's wearing pants.
Well, good. I prefer when wrestlers have that look with the long pants. I think it's more modern. I think it just looks cooler. I think they can show more of their personality in their costume choices. I've never been a Bobby Lashley fan.
Me neither.
I like Lana. I miss Rusev Day with her.
I don't like Lana at all either.
Well, I miss her with Alex English and Rusev and that dynamic. I thought that was a really great little throuple they had there. But Bobby Lashley again is one of these guys I don't get. Like, he can't talk, he can't wrestle. Lana is all of a sudden missing her Russian accent. They jobbed and cucked Rusev out for some odd reason.
Again.
Yeah, again, exactly. I love Aleister Black. I think that guy's got a ton of upside. I think he's got a CM Punk-esque way about him in the ring where every match is different. There's no rhyme or rhythm to his moveset, other than he's got a killer finisher that's different from everybody else's, because I think there's too many things that are stunnery, RKO-y, AA, or FU, F5 type of finishers that everybody's doing lately, and just the spinny roundhouse kick thing is awesome.
Black Mass is the best finisher in wrestling right now, period. Aleister Black, and I'm sure I'm not the first. Won't be the
even
last
better
person.
Than the Judas elbow?
I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not.
Oh, I'm being 100% sarcastic. That's a bullshit move.
Right.
That Chris,
I'm just making sure.
That is just a bullshit move that Jericho's guess what? I'm just going to make my finisher a spinning back elbow, and people are going to cheer for it.
Yep.
Because it's me. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. One, and I like I was going to say, I don't think I'm going to be the last person to say this. I'm definitely not the first. They need to make Aleister Black the new Undertaker. And I don't mean a carbon copy of the Undertaker. You can't do that. But this dude needs to be unbeatable. He needs to be feared. People need to be scared of him. He has so much presence. His moveset is not a wrestling moveset. It is a UFC moveset. Mm-hmm. Watching him kick people in the face is some of the most entertainment I get during the week. His running knee, Black Mass, and that's actually the biggest thing that killed me about this match, right? So Aleister Black beats Bobby Lashley. Thank God, because if Lashley beat him, it would have been a travesty. But then, the Black Mass looked good at the angle they showed it for the pin, right? Mm-hmm. And then, man, going back to being a pre-recorded show, they showed the replay. And he clearly doesn't kick him in the face.
Right.
And obviously he never kicks him in the face, but they angle it really well. They showed the goddamn replay. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I think moving the hard camera the way they have to face the ramp has really messed with the WWE style of filming. And that's why we're noticing more of these weird little botches. Alexa's thing was a botch. That was just a flat out botch.
Just a straight up botch, yeah.
But we are seeing now just these people who are normally oh wow, that was awesome, and we're kind of seeing how the sausage is made, and we're like so we definitely desperately need crowds back so they can go back to their normal way of shooting matches.
Yep.
I will say, if Bobby Lashley would have won after the pre-show and the Charlotte Rhea match, I would have just turned this off. I would have rage quit WrestleMania 36, fired up the PlayStation, and played some NBA 2K20.
I liked this. I actually didn't have a problem with this match.
I'm just saying if Bobby would have won.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, this was a good match. I think this was a solid 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I would go 2.5 as well. It wasn't perfect, but giving Black the win at WrestleMania is, I think, big. And
that starts his streak.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, exactly.
So you want to go Undertaker. So I think you make a really good point about he should be the modern day Undertaker, but do not put a belt on him. Yeah. Do not put a belt on him for 5 years. Let him just tear through the roster, and people fear him. And when he wrestles champions, it's in non-title matches on Raw or SmackDown, whichever brand he's on, and he decimates them. Just decimates. And you leave those champions coming out wondering holy crap, I don't want to do anything that involves this guy because I know I'm going to lose my belt.
If Triple H can get more control over Mondays and Fridays, and like pick the people he wants to pick, and I think Vince, to be fair, sees something in him too, which is why he got a match at Mania.
Yeah.
But like, if he can,
I think it's Paul Heyman who sees.
Yeah, okay,
Paul Heyman is the real Aleister Black advocate,
and thank God he's there too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Paulie needs to be reined in as well. I mean, you can't just let him go either.
No, man, it would be. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
So anyway, all right. So then we got Otis defeating Dolph Ziggler in what was a short, albeit fun-ish match that had Mandy Rose coming down in maybe 1/3 of an outfit.
1/3 of an outfit, yeah.
So,
but I mean, to be fair, Otis was wearing 1/3 of an outfit too.
Well, Otis wears a child's small shirt, so yeah. It was nice to see Otis go over. I fell off the Dolph Ziggler train a few years ago. Like I used to mark out hard for this guy, and now I'm kind of like, okay, Nikki, just go. You do your stand up. You're much better off. Like. I can't imagine WWE pays you enough to be the litmus test.
Right. I did like his program when he was with Drew and his program with Seth. I think that was good. That's about it since he's been back.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was a funnish match. I'm really hoping they use Sonya Deville for something to showcase her actual talents.
Yes.
I think they kept her in the shadow of Mandy Rose.
Yeah, because Vince loves blondes with big boobs.
Well, and the Corey Graves, like I said he wasn't like the king he was like the king without the sexual harassment, but I forgot about Mandy Rose. It's
that's borderline creep. Like it's so damn creepy and so stalkerish,
right?
I don't.
While he's having an affair with Carmella, the whole time too. It's like, dude, are you trying to get with Mandy Rose at the same Mandy Sachs at the same time? But I really want Sonya Deville to come out of this and like get a real singles push and like let us see what she can do. She can talk. I love her hair up and square up thing. I think that's just a great little way to come out and she's an MMA woman, and let's give her a chance. Was she the glitch? Was she the thing from SmackDown? I missed SmackDown on Friday night. But
you mean the secret texter? Yeah, she was.
Yeah, so which is fine, the kiss with Otis and Mandy Rose was really uncomfortable.
I need to see that.
She went in for the back and he tried to slip her the tongue. So it was like, yo, simmer down, big boy. She's not a ham. So, but I give this one a 2.5 out of 5. I thought it was a fun match. I think the right person went over. Hopefully this is the end of it.
I'm gonna give it a 2 because I just don't care about the story.
I'll agree with you. I'll go 2. I'll drop that half. Okay. Now we had the longest match of WrestleMania.
36 minutes. And
it felt like the longest match of WrestleMania for a couple reasons. We had the last man standing match, Edge defeating Randy Orton. I do not care for last man standing matches. I've only liked a few throughout the years. The one I really liked was when it was John Cena and Bray Wyatt, and Bray wouldn't sell for anything that Cena was doing.
Yes.
And so he threw him in the cabinet and shut the cabinet on the ground face down like he was in a portalet and he was playing a prank on him. I thought that was like a great ending if you're going to have Cena win. But yeah, these two went all over the Performance Center. This was 100% a commercial for the Performance Center. Don't pretend that this was a last man standing match. But when they're fighting on that truck and it had like the bed cover, I was waiting for one of them to throw the other one in and close the truck.
Yeah.
That's how I was like, I wanted to see that.
Yeah. So I'm so torn about this match because goddamn, I love these two.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Especially together.
Randy's a legend, straight up legend, is going to be very quickly in the Hall of Fame whenever he retires. And that's still a long ways away. And obviously, I'm marking hard for Edge because he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
And just anytime I hear "You Think You Know Me," I just lose my shit.
Well, I told you that was my ringtone on my phone for a really long time, and then I switched it to my alarm. And my wife made me change the alarm because it would go, "You think you know me," and like it would scare the shit out of her every morning.
Yeah, but like I wanted to love this match, and I couldn't because of its length. It was so damn long.
Well, I'll tell you the other reason I couldn't is because the bumps Edge was taking, and like I know he's selling it, and I know he's like shaking his hands out and like kicking his legs, and it's like. I can't watch you do this. I just can't. Like,
you're just nervous about his neck.
I absolutely was. And because of the way he went out, and again, he's a guy who had to leave the business for 9 years. He had to vacate his title. He had to go through 2 major neck surgeries. You know, I had a hard time with it.
Yeah, I'm with you there 100%. I'm not at the same level because of the amount of doctors he went and saw.
Right.
But that's how I am right now with Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Dude, he came back so quick from that neck surgery. Like, so quick. So anytime, dude, one of his first matches back is War Games. And
when he took Adam Cole off the top of the cage through 2 tables, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, he's dead, King. He's dead. He killed himself.
Anytime he landed on his back and neck, I was like, that's it. It's done. He's broken his neck again.
Well, in what's Cole's finisher, the knee to the back of the head there. I forget what it's called.
The last shot.
Last shot, right? Like he took like 2 or 3 last shots over the course of two takeovers and a whole bunch of NXT wrestling matches. And it's like, dude, you are either the toughest person that ever existed or the dumbest motherfucker to walk the face of the earth.
Not to mention the Panama Sunrise. Is the Panama Sunrise?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Panama Sunrise too. You know but yeah, I just had a hard time with this match, and then the concerto at the end, which no one is allowed to do anymore for very good reason because it's a total unprotected headshot.
But it's not.
Well, but it's not. But the thing is it's reverberating the chair that your head is on, which is not good for your head either.
No, I will concede to that for sure.
That's where like I'm saying like it is a unprotected headshot because 1, that's not good for your inner ear. 2, that's not like you can still get a concussion from the reverberation that's coming back through that chair. And when Randy is like in The Rock when the air conditioner fell on Dr. Cox there, and he's like the legs are or it wasn't Dr. Cox, it was just one of the unnamed guys. But the legs kid in Nick Cage is like, is that normal? And like he's like, yeah, it's fine. Getting that level of quote unquote reality, like I didn't need that in this match. I needed this to be a 20-minute, the two of them kind of chasing each other around for a while, some brutality, maybe a bunch of stuff, and then like I'd have been perfectly fine if neither one of them came up to the bell.
I would agree with that. And this was, I think, out of any match out of the 2 nights that needed a crowd the most, this was it.
I disagree because they would have been going back into the depths of Raymond James Stadium anyway. Like
but they still would have been piping in the crowd. You know what I mean?
That maybe if they like let's go and like recut this and pipe in some crowd noise and see if that changes it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I liked this match, and at the same time, I was terrified watching this match, and so it definitely affected the enjoyment. I think it went on too long. I told you it was a slog, when we were watching it, because I wasn't gonna watch night 2 right away. I was just gonna wait and kind of watch it because it was Westworld night. But I ended up watching pretty much the whole thing. I fell asleep right before Brock and Drew started wrestling. But I woke up like an hour later and went back and watched that match, which I was like, oh, I came back for this. Of course, then I watched Westworld.
I will say I loved the finish of this match. The finish was great.
It was. On top of the production, the NXT production truck was really good, but it needed to be 19 minutes shorter.
19 minutes shorter, but I do love Edge crying at the end and like hugging Randy. Like, so thought that was...
Here's what I want coming out of this. Rated RKO.
You think?
You protect Edge by putting him in a tag team with Randy Orton, and you bring Rated RKO back, and you I know Edge is going to be a face no matter what, but you bring them back as a heel stable, and you have them run roughshod over the SmackDown tag team division, and you put the belts on them at SummerSlam.
Oh, I don't know, man. I just...
These two versus New Day, come on. Like
no,
this
no.
Yes, this is great. They can finally rid the WWE the scourge that is the Unicorn Stampede. You know,
I want to see Edge work with Seth. I really do.
Yeah, but he's not. I don't think he's going to go to Raw. He's going to be a SmackDown guy. SmackDown was his show.
Yeah,
like
true.
I stopped watching SmackDown when he retired for like a year.
Yeah,
because I just couldn't. Like, he belongs on the Blue brand. You know,
brand loyalty, man.
Yeah, and I just think, yeah, I think he belongs on the Friday night show. I think Fox wants him on the Friday night show. I think it will help bring ratings on
sure.
to SmackDown and especially once fans come back, because he's on a victory lap that's gonna last 5 years. Everywhere he goes, he's gonna get a pop. When they go to Toronto for the first time on SmackDown, it is gonna be insane.
It's gonna break TV speakers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to mute it to make sure that I don't like lose my speakers. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a 3 out of 5.
I agree. 3 out of 5.
All right. So moving along, then we got we kind of talked about this. Well, I don't think we talked about this on air. We were talking about this beforehand. The champion Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory with Zelina Vega for the Raw Tag Team Championship. This might have been the match of the night for night 2. But not for the match itself.
Exactly.
For
the
extracurriculars that happened. We had Bianca Belair make her she had her WrestleMania moment. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
I love the Street Profits, the way they work, the way they talk. The only thing I don't really like is the like let's smoke, or I forget what the little catchphrase is about
we want the smoke.
Yeah, we want the smoke. It's like, that's just stupid. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But I think Angela Dawkins and Montez Ford are great. I love them in NXT. I'm happy they're being used. I'm happy they're champions. The Angel Garza, it was supposed to be Andrade, right?
It was supposed to be Andrade and Angel Garza, and Andrade hurt himself again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Charlotte's got to take it easy on him, man.
I know.
She just keeps humping the life out of him. That's rude. I'm sorry, Charlotte. I'm sorry, Andrade. But Austin Theory is a beast. Like, you know, like if you're gonna replace him with someone, that's great. And I think Zelina Vega, like building up like a stable of wrestlers and not having them all be Mexican is good for her. She is like everything that Miss Elizabeth was. She's that, plus she can go, which is nice.
I love the fact that she can wrestle and that she's not just a manager, right? Like she is the total package, and she's got great charisma. I think there's a reason they picked her, not all that well, unfortunately, but they picked her to play AJ Lee in the Fighting with My Family movie. You know, she's really good at what she does, and is also the perfect kind of enemy for Belair to come and debut against. Like I said at the beginning of the show, like this being my moment, like what better moment than like for her to have her WrestleMania moment against Zelina Vega? Like I loved everything about it.
Yeah, it was a great match. Like it just really was. And then, you know, with the two of them going at it there at the end, and, you know, Bianca getting over on her, and I think again we're gonna see this particular group of individuals, like, or teams, these two teams going at it. We're gonna see some Bianca versus Zelina Vega one-on-one matches. We're gonna see, you know, Montez or Angelo fighting Angel or Austin.
Yeah.
And then when Andrade comes back, you can put him into this mix, and maybe you throw someone else in, like maybe throw like a fish out of water, like Chad Gable or something in with the Street Profits.
Well, and like God forbid WWE have long tag team feuds again, right? Like,
well, they've just. I hate tag team wrestling was always like some of my favorite wrestling. The Rockers, the Hart Foundation, Demolition, Rated RKO, just moving up through the years and things like that. The Hardys, I always like the Dudleys. But yeah, no, you're right. They need to do like some really good long form. They do it a little with the New Day and the Usos, but again, that's just because they're part of that Rock family tree, and
But look at why AEW is so successful right now.
Because it's all about tag team wrestling.
Tag team wrestling is so freaking good, and like there's, they don't show them every week, but there are some long-standing feuds going on there. You got Lucha Bros just about going and feuding with every tag team, and them all just hating Lucha Bros.
Right, but you're supposed to hate Lucha Bros now.
Exactly. So like,
and those guys are crazy.
I love them,
but. No, I think you get like the best wrestling is not singles matches. The best wrestling is tag team matches, because you get 4 guys out there doing their best, and like, if someone needs a break, they make that hot tag, and like all of a sudden the action kicks back up again.
Yeah.
It's not Bobby Lashley rest holds for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5.
I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5 because it was my moment of the night. Like Bianca Belair having her moment. Like she is, I said it, I'll say it again. She has everything she needs to succeed and is one of my favorite things in wrestling right now.
Okay. And then moving on to the women's 5-pack challenge, or Fatal 5-Way as they called it. You have Bayley defending against Lacey Evans, Naomi, Sasha Banks, and the nobody meaner than Tamina, right?
She just looks like she's coked up like every single time.
She looks like she's melting. Like her makeup was awful.
It's like she's an android, and it's just
she's a synth.
She's something.
She was the Gollum, and they put her.
She's like the female Lars Sullivan.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I know.
Oh, I hate Lars Sullivan. He's
exactly
okay.
Both completely useless and
yes,
nothing.
100%. The only reason she was here is because she lives close to the Performance Center. I 100% believe that. Like if you watch who's like wrestling on Raw Monday night, it's just the NXT people who live within like a block or two of the Performance Center. But I'm really glad Bayley retained. I think it did a good job in forwarding along the Bayley Sasha story.
Yes.
My biggest fear is they're going to bring Sasha back to being a face, and that they're going to make Bayley a face again. Like, I really hope they have the balls to go double heel feud, which they haven't done in a long time.
Double heel feuds.
Huh?
Hates them.
Oh, I know he does, but
yeah,
like they're like, I can't think of a better female heel than Sasha Banks.
Oh, she's freaking brilliant.
Like, do you remember when in NXT with Becky, when she's like, I fully give that program with Sasha credit for kind of inventing the man. Because she was like, you're not angry enough. You don't have any fire. And that's when Becky was coming out in like the leprechaun outfit.
Oh God.
And then it transformed her where she came out in like, the black kind of one piece with the leggings and everything that is close to what she wears now. But yeah, I really was hoping to see the two of them at the end, but at the same time, I liked it when Lacey Evans landed the Big Show punch on
Women's Right.
Yeah, I'm not calling it that.
I know.
When she landed the punch on Sasha, and then Bayley sat there and watched her get pinned, but then Sasha came back in to make the save.
Yep.
But then when Bayley was, and this was again WWE production. This was great because they put this shadow over Sasha that made her look
what I was gonna talk
really,
about.
really, really menacing in a good way. And this is a feud that people want. This is a feud that I'm really happy that they had the foresight and reserve to save for when they have a crowd.
WWE doesn't do a lot of things right these days, but one of the things they do well when they do it, because they barely do it anymore, is long form storytelling. And the fact that this, you know that this is setting up their match at SummerSlam, right? Like, there's nothing else that this could possibly be setting up.
Right.
Having Sasha walk backwards into that shadow and have Bayley be in the white with the belt was like it blew my mind, because I'm like, oh wow, they actually made this work without Sasha winning the title right now. And Bayley being a heel right now, like, I love this whole, like, I know that she's got the Eye of Ra, or the Eye of Horus as a tattoo, and she's kind of been coming out with like the Egyptian headdress every now and then. Like, I would like to see more of that, like this heel,
like
Bayley.
A little Cleopatra thing going on.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, look,
yeah,
not like you know.
Exactly. Like, I want them to take it that one step further and have her like go even more heel.
Yeah. I love her talking shit.
Going.
I love the way she talks trash the whole time. I like when she yells at Michael Cole.
She's like, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
She like had the balls to yell that. I love that.
So yeah, I don't know. I gave this one a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 just simply because of those last like 10 minutes, right? With the pin on Sasha, and then Sasha giving the assist.
Well, and I think you got to go back to before Naomi was eliminated, and when it was the 3 of them in the ring, and they were going and just they were putting on a really good match, because there were a couple times where Naomi got over on them when they tried to double team her.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think Naomi, like, she's come a long way from being a Funkadactyl, right?
Yeah.
But I think she's going to be, like, when we look back at this time in women's wrestling, she's going to be a missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity and a utility role more than anything.
And I think, you know, they're always like, oh, she's the most talented athlete on the roster. She's not.
Bullshit.
And I think giving her that moniker is a disservice, because fans expect to see something out of her that she just can't do. When you say things like that, like, it's like, okay, like, her big move is, you know, jumping up and giving people like a running stink face, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is great, and the way she does it, and the way she does the little herky with her legs getting all up and you know, parallel, is cool, and she does some cool stuff. But she is all style and no substance in the ring, which is a problem.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
All right, cool. Now we had the acid trip portion of the evening.
I feel really bad for anybody who was on drugs during this match.
Oh my God.
It wasn't really a match, right?
It's like David after dentist. Is this real life? Is this even real? So I Angel had asked me, my wife's name is Angel, had asked, like, so how was it, you know, Monday morning? I said, well, the Firefly Funhouse was either the worst thing I've ever seen or the best thing I've ever seen. And I've never dropped acid, but now I know what it feels like. It was the most demented version of John Cena, This Is Your Life, that we're ever going to get. It was a really interesting look at the highlights of his career, but under the lens of these were all the mistakes that he made.
Yeah.
I love Bray as like the Mr. Rogers Bray. I'm not a big fan of the Fiend. But I love the Mr. Rogers Bray, right? So seeing that the NWO thing, I literally lost it. I was laughing so hard at how great.
I never in a million years would have seen that coming.
No, and the whole thing of that was that missed heel turn when they had the Fear My Name thing for Cena, where he was gonna turn heel, and you know when Hogan had turned heel at 42, that WCW had the wherewithal to do that. I think, you know, Cena, unfortunately, and I'm never going to bash John Cena. I think he's done an amazing thing for this world, not just wrestling. became so popular with kids, there was no way they were ever going to be able to turn him heel.
How much money do you think over the past 20 years or so has he brought to WWE? Like billions. It's got to be billions.
Billions, easy. But like, let's not look at it from a money standpoint. He's the number one Make-A-Wish.
Yes, which is amazing.
And you know, I mean, like, if I were dying and I got to make a wish, I'd probably be like, hey, I just want to meet John Cena and sit down and have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we can wrestle. I just want to give him a 5-knuckle shuffle. Is that so wrong? But you know, the little, what really got me too was the little 80s vignette, the eat your prayers and take your vitamins, and you know, him lifting the weights to the point where he couldn't move his arms was really funny, and his face was like, what is even happening? What I don't want to do this. I think this was not wrestling, this was art.
Exactly. It was a different version of what they did with the Boneyard match. And do you know what I immediately thought of when his arm stopped working? Like, it was scary for a minute. It reminded me of like one of the dream sequences from one of the early Nightmare on Elm Street films.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, they did that so well, where his arms wouldn't work and he was trying to punch Bray, and it was brilliant. Like, it was just so well done.
Hey, I want to take an aside real quick. The Edge Randy Orton match, there was one thing that really bothered me. And I forgot to mention, and I don't want to forget. And jumping back to Nightmare on Elm Street kind of threw it off. When Randy tried to hang him in the weight room.
Oh yeah.
That was a really, really bad take, WWE. Especially after the Dark Side of the Ring Benoit stuff just aired, and that's kind of back in everybody's mind. That was not cool.
It was poorly timed. It was poorly done. It didn't need to be done. I don't think I have as much of a reaction either way as other people do, but I understand why there is a reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Benoit guy before like he went crazy and killed his family.
Yeah.
So you know, and you know, just you know, the less we say about this, the better. But like, that was not a cool move. Okay, back to the Firefly Funhouse. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you there.
No, I think it's important to bring up. I think, yeah.
No, I loved all the little vignettes. The prototype John Cena with the ruthless aggression, and then missing the slap
fist again.
Yeah, the SmackDown fist was. I wonder where they got that. I wonder where that is. Like, is that up in Stanford? Is it in a warehouse in Florida? Like, where is that fist, and why can't they bring that back on SmackDown?
It's with the Ark of the Covenant.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was good, and then the ending was really cool too. But it again is very reminiscent of broken Matt Hardy.
Yeah, I mean, they have to give Matt credit, right? Like, Matt's the whole reason that these things can even work in wrestling right now. But from what I understand, Matt was completely flattered by the fact that they were able to do these and do them well.
So, I always liked Matt better than Jeff. Always. I think he's the better wrestler. I think when it comes to wrestling minds, we're never going to see someone like Matt Hardy ever again.
You have the talk right now about being able to reinvent themselves multiple times, and the two people that have done that the most in the past 20 or so years are Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I do like to joke about Matt Hardy that he takes the tiniest little steps ever. He doesn't have a very long stride. So anytime I see someone who like takes like short little steps, I'm like, oh, there must be a Matt Hardy fan. But yeah, this was really, really cool. This could have gone really bad. I think because John Cena is such a good sport. I think I don't know for sure, but I imagine he and Bray have a pretty good relationship.
Oh, to make that work, absolutely.
Because I can't like you go and you look at Goldberg and Braun, right? Never mind. Let's look at Goldberg and Matt Riddle. Goldberg doesn't have a sense of humor about anything, so he's not amused by Matt Riddle just tweeting about like, oh, this is like riding his skateboard, and he's like, it's dangerous, but not as dangerous as a jackhammer. You know, which is hilarious. But John going out and like, this very well could be his retirement. If he never comes back, I'm okay with that. Like, I think this goes out on like such a cool note and such a different note. And my only concern is like he never passed the torch to the new face that runs the place.
Yeah, at the same time, I don't know if he needs to.
Well, I don't think we need to do that now anyway. You know, I think it's such a different world, and wrestling is such a different business. But yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I would not mind seeing a like final, like this is it, Cena versus the Fiend at SummerSlam in some kind of crazy stipulation match.
I want to see Cena get one more championship run to tie Flair.
Yeah,
just to tie. I don't want him to beat Flair. I would like to see him get like, you know, maybe a 3-month run with the belt, losing at the Royal Rumble, and maybe that's how he goes out. Or he wins. He comes back and wins a Royal Rumble, and he goes out. Like maybe he wins it at Elimination Chamber and then drops it at WrestleMania, and that's it. But yeah, like he needs his "I'm sorry" moment. I love you.
I agree completely. I want to see more of him. If he, again, I'm with you though. If we don't see him again, this Firefly Funhouse was just ridiculous and fun in so many ways.
So I'm giving this like our cinematic score, like with the Boneyard match, I'm giving this a 4 out of 4.
Yeah, I loved both equally for completely different reasons. 4.
All right, and then the final match of Wrestlemania 36 lasted 4 minutes. And there were 6 moves.
I'm not speechless often. It's a disrespect to Drew McIntyre. It's a disrespect to the company. It's a disrespect to passing the torch with the WWE Championship. It's a disrespectful way to drop the belt. It's screwed up that they didn't protect Drew the way they protected Shayna, in my opinion. You know, Drew still took the risk and volunteered. They say it was voluntary to wrestle at WrestleMania.
Right.
He took the risk. He's got a family to wrestle. I think he could have lost to Brock to, you know, protect him and then beat him in front of a crowd and win the WWE Championship. This was just, I think, like, for such an awesome competitor and such a great entertainer to win the belt in this way was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's rough. And especially the little thing they filmed afterwards that they showed on Raw. With Big Show coming out, which, you know what? That was a much better match, but that's some bullshit right there. That is some fucking bullshit right there.
And I want to know if it was Brock or if it was Vince who had the idea of not having these two giants kick the living shit out of each other for 20 minutes.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of. So, like, you never know what you're getting with Brock anymore. Like, you know, you get Brock versus Finn Balor.
That was a good match.
It's a great match. You get Brock versus Daniel Bryan. It's a great match. Brock no-sells Dean Ambrose. Brock no-sells and squashes Ricochet after he said, I really want to work with this guy.
Or Ricochet.
Yeah, I know. That killed his career.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Like, he will never ever recover from that.
Nope.
Like Joe Exotic says, he will never financially recover from that.
Oh my God. What a segue. Jesus, that was amazing.
Boom. Oh. Hey, I've been doing this for a while. I know how to segue into shit. And I watch a lot of stuff. Anyway. But yeah, so I just think I gotta give this a 1 out of 5. And it kills me. It kills me.
Yeah, man.
I think it was such a disservice to Drew. I think Vince McMahon needs to leave the company.
I think the board, he's being investigated. I know that. I think the board needs to oust him. I don't know what that does to his relationship with his son-in-law, because
I don't know if Paul Levesque is the answer either.
I think he's, dude, I give him credit and I give him the benefit of the doubt with NXT alone.
Yeah.
You know, I think you have him and you keep Paul Lee and you do something really good. I I have to give this match a half again because it wasn't a match. And it like, okay, Braun Strowman and Goldberg, two big dudes. They're neither one are like terribly important.
No,
you know, so it's almost forgivable. This isn't. Drew is a superstar. He is one of the biggest, you know, I wouldn't say money makers, but he's, you know, one of the top guys on the roster right now.
He's one of the top guys in the world because when he had his first run with WWE, he was pushed down everybody's throat as the next big thing, and he didn't deliver, and he ended up in 3MB and then fucked right off out of WWE. And he went and said, you know what? I am going to rededicate myself to my craft. I'm going to hit the indie circuit. I'm going to go dominate an Impact for a while, and I'm going to work my way back into it. And then when he came back into the WWE fold, he didn't come right back to the main roster. He had so little ego that he went back to NXT and crushed it.
Oh, he was so good at NXT, dude.
He was so good. And he wasn't there very long.
No, he wasn't.
But still, he went down. He's like, you know, I got to relearn the WWE way. You know, he didn't ever have to come back to WWE, and people would have loved him. And to do him like this, and the fact that he's the first, which just shocked me, that he's the first English-born champion.
I was shocked to learn that as well. Like the first English-born, first Scottish WWE champion. Yeah. Like, it's
But like, then I go back and I think like British Bulldog was never WWE champion. William Regal was never.
Oh, but Roddy Piper was American. He wasn't actually real.
Right.
Yeah.
But William Regal was never WWE champion, which I always think has been a travesty. You know, and you think of like the great like British wrestlers that they've had over the years, and the fact that none of them have ever won a main title.
Yep.
It's just sad.
The biggest thing is I could say is that at least he has the belt.
Yeah, he has the belt. He has the little side badges.
His side plates are
too.
nice.
Yep. The side plates are cool. I love his new logo. But yeah.
The last thing I want to say about it is my only problem with him having the belt is I have absolutely no idea what you do with babyface Drew McIntyre right now.
You have him go on a feel-good run of victories until you can figure out how to get Kevin Owens back as a heel and into a program with him.
Oh, see, I would reverse that. I would keep KO as the heel.
Ooh.
I mean, as the face.
Okay.
And I would have Drew turn again because Drew, again, is a much better heel.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
So, but I think KO, like, being his, like, SummerSlam match could be something special.
Really good.
Yeah. Or his Survivor Series match. And you let it slow burn. Maybe they team up at SummerSlam. And then, you know, over the course of the next month, they turn on each other. And KO goes back to, you know, that popcorn eating, you know, just badass heel that he can be.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you giving this?
Oh, I gave it a half.
Oh,
yeah.
1.5?
No, a half.
Oh, just a half. All right. Well, I'm giving it a 1 because I refuse to give anything less than a 1. Because they did.
There's nothing to do with their work.
They did show up and they showed up and they did what they were told to do.
Let me put it this way. I'm not giving the match a half star, right? I'm giving Vince McMahon and maybe Brock Lesnar a half star. Let me put it that way. I'm
ready for Brock Lesnar to just be done with WWE.
Like, I've never had a problem with him, but if he's going to come work, he needs to come work.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just ready for him to kind of be over it and like, all right, I'm good. I've wrestled enough. I've got millions upon millions of dollars. I'm going to go back into isolation, hang out with Sable, and just enjoy my life.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't enjoy wrestling. He doesn't enjoy the crowds. He doesn't enjoy any of it. He just likes the money. And I think with UFC buying this island so they can keep doing live shows, one is just the biggest flex you could ever make, and I love. But two, Brock can go back and do that. He can fly to their private island. He can fight. He doesn't have to see anybody, and he can leave. Because guess what? UFC does not need a crowd.
Nope, they don't. Not one bit.
So,
and I swear I heard you just call it UFC. I think you meant Mortal Kombat, right?
Is this the Earth Realm finally defending itself from the rest of the plane of existence? Get over here.
Oh, man.
Your soul is mine.
Yes.
All right, my friend. We're at the end of a marathon.
It was a marathon, man.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for like for entertaining this and putting up with this idea that I had to do this.
I loved it. I had so much fun.
But yeah, man, this was a blast. I wish WrestleMania would have been better. I wish it would have been postponed, to be honest.
I wish it was postponed, and I really wish that they had the balls not to call it WrestleMania and just call it a different name.
Just put WrestleMania in quotes and just like go from there. Just be meta about it. It's like in quotes and in italics.
Something. I don't know.
It's sarcastic. It's WrestleMania going up at the end with the question. That's what they should do. Just WrestleMania ? 36. It's WrestleMania 36.
WrestleMania in parentheses light
demo. This is the demo.
100 calories.
This is the demo WrestleMania you play in Target on the Switch.
Exactly.
So, all right, where can everybody find you in the Everything Is Permitted podcast online?
You can find us at everythingispermitted.com. We have all our shows there and our blogs. You can also find us on literally anywhere podcasts are found, and on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Permitted Pod.
Awesome. Thank you. And again, guys, this is the Infamous Podcast. Thank you for listening. You can back our Patreon at patreon.com/infamouspodcast. And where you're at it, go back. The Everything Is Permitted Patreon. I think there's a contest going on with you guys for the next person who follows.
Yeah, the next person. So, we're at that 9 right now. We have 9 patrons. We're looking for that 10th, and if we get that 10th, that person gets a free digital movie of their choice. So
ooh, I might be your 10th patron.
There you go.
So, and we're on social media at Infamous Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. InfamousPodcast.com. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere podcasts are found on your favorite podcatching app. If you like the show and you like this show and you've listened all the way to the end of this, congratulations. Thank you. Go grab one of your friends' phones who's into this kind of stuff, pull up Spotify, follow us on Spotify, and then set their notifications on to get notified every Sunday when we have new episodes. So yeah, Julian, thank you again for coming on. This has been a really fun time, and
thank you.
Yeah. All right. So whenever you're listening to this, have a happy day, night, evening, weekend, whatever it is, and we'll talk to you soon. Later.